Here we have the Obersalzberg Bahn, which is a cable car which goes up to the Obersalzberg. And here we have the road which goes up to the Obersalzberg. It's pretty steep. You can see if they're 24%. So take a bit of getting up. You'll need an electric bike for that. Seems a bit strange. I was here only 5 days ago and it was covered in snow. Anyway, it looks a bit different now. And the reason I'm filming this is for this reason. This building here was the first SS guard post. It was one of 3 you had to get through to get up to the Berghof and Hitler. Now, let's have a look at the position within the town. So there's Berchtesgaden, and here's the road which sort of leads around it. Down there we've got the salt mine, and in the left hand side we've got the railway station. So it's a pretty important road. But here in 1937 this building was put here to keep the riffraff out. Hitler was not a man of the people, but what happened? He rented the place here, then he bought it in 1933. When he bought the place here, he initially put up with this furor tourism of people coming to see him. In fact, special trains were even laid on, and people standing outside his garden fence wanting to see him. Well, after a while he'd had enough of it. He wanted a bit of privacy. He didn't have to have anything to do with the riffraff anymore. So Nazis started buying up the Obersalzberg, forcing people to leave. Compulsory purchases without the compulsory purchase order and the protection that is given in a democratic state for people who may be the victims of compulsory purchase, and happens all the time, and it may well happen to people listening to this in the future. But in this case, people are being forced to leave the Obersalzberg in order to make way for the buildings for the Nazi hierarchy, the bigwigs, the glitterati, as one historian put it. And they were forced to leave. One family, I saw a daughter giving an interview, and she said that her father was threatened that if they didn't go down to notary and sign his property away, he would end up in Dachau. Other people who were forced to leave were poor people, and the money they give them didn't. There was nowhere near sufficient to cover the value of the property, or even their debts, or the losses they would suffer for losing their business, because most of them lived off the land. But then again, being faced with that, or Dachau, then it's we understood why they moved out. Hitler did buy the place he used to rent, and then he converted it to the Berghof, and I'm sure he paid the proper and correct price for it. But when Martin Bormann started trying to make this a private area for Hitler, it ceased to be the case. Now here we have this is the first of 3 guardhouses, and standing directly on the river bank. Now let's have a little bit closer at it, because see some more things about it. It does show something though, the Nazi state. This road, formerly a public road, is now being made a private road, effectively, for the bigwigs, so they don't have to speak to the people, the normal people. There you have the date, and up here would have been some kind of either SS or Nazi insignia. And so that's now gone for obvious reasons, as it's gone everywhere. There was barbed wire all the way around, according to one of the witnesses. But then again, I mean, if somebody was really determined to get in, I suppose they would do. Hitler also, he was a coward, but in some ways he did have the attitude that he didn't want to mix with the normal people, but he did have sort of the attitude, well, if you get assassinated, you get assassinated, and there's not much you can do to stop it. And so that's, for example, when he did drive around with an open car, Although the open car itself, sorry, the beginning drive, well, an open car is put a stop for that not long into the war. That supercar was supercharged. It had the tyres had 20 chambers in them, and this is something I thought of as being relatively modern, but that existed 80 years ago. And it was armour plated, so which obviously normal people couldn't have things like that. And of course there were many attempts several attempts to assassinate him. The closest being in Munich in November 1939, when a bomb was set off in the celebrations of the anniversary of the attempted coup of 1923. Best known as at his other headquarters at Rastenburg, 20th of July 1944. I think I'd like to mention the Smolensk attempt as well, because there was 2 attempts there made. One was supposed to gun Hitler down at a meeting in Smolensk in March 1943, and then there was an attempt to put the bomb on the plane, British made bomb, and the bomb didn't go off. So Hitler, and there were other attempts as well, but they're the best known ones. Look at the side of the road as well. But when you look at the mountains, there's the fantastic views, you can sort of see why. Not just Hitler, but also the Bavarian royal family. I've just been to the castle, which is up there on the hill, and to have a look at that, and that's great. What you can do when you're here is you can go up to the Obersalzberg. They have a documentation centre, it's a museum, and it describes the Nazi regime, not only what happened here, but also it gives an overlook of the terror during the war and the Nazi occupation of many of all the countries that they took during the Second World War. In Obersalzberg, however, I need to point out there isn't a great deal to see as such, because most of it was destroyed after the war. You can, however, see the Eagle's Nest, which is right at the top, and you can't see it from here, but it's right at the top up there. Folly, built by Bormann 1936 to 39, and that's intact, but Hitler only went there 12 times. Eva Braun used to use it quite a lot though. So, this is me in Berchtesgaden, signing off.